Hey guys, good evening. Hi Chirpy, hi Mark. Machine NZ, g'day Kevin. Hi Stefan. Speaking fluent Hawaiian there. Hey Tommy Gun Machining. Really good video, Chirpy. I don't think you covered everything. I noticed that Red Dyer got 10 videos so far on Rough and Tumble. So you're not even halfway there. I've watched a few of them, but check out Red Dyer. If you're interested in vintage engines and model engines, he's got a pretty good channel. Let's all go. G'day, Cam. Good to see you. Out the other side. Good video the other week. Pretty brave to put that up, but really glad you did. Everyone should go and check out Cam's video this week. Also should check out Chirpy's video and Stefan's video on tool grinding, which is always interesting. I'm sure you've all seen it. Tommy Gunn's video on the power feed, which is also interesting. I'm not very good at that. Hey Paddy and hi Duncan. Not much happening this week. I'm beyond tired. I've had a migraine for 2 days and I'm really not feeling it. I've been at work as well. So standing here doing a Dale Derry trying to get animated, practicing my happy voice, which is what he does. It's not working. So you've got me as I am. Hi David. Hi John. So not a lot to report. About 6 months ago, I built this engine with a few little guidelines for myself. The idea was that I was going to see if I could build it in a week. Didn't happen. Got it looking like an engine in a week, but it's taken about 9-10 days so far because I've rebuilt most of the engine and I've done the pipework twice. There's not many bits in it I haven't done twice. This is LBSC Shop, Shed and Road engine. Hey Mike. From this book, if you're interested in live steam and fittings and building model steam locomotives, I guess you've got this book. It's edited by Martin Evans after LBSC passed away. Written by Curly Lawrence or edited out of Model Engineer magazine. There's a lot of good stuff in this, and it is a good book, mostly on fittings and pumps and a bit on valve gears, just little bits and pieces that you need for locomotives, cool handles for valves, mostly hints and tips, whistles, oilers, things like that. Anyway, so in the back of this book, there's a chapter called Mini Steam Engines, chapter 12, and it sort of covers all sorts of stuff. And there's this picture. Now, this inspired me since I was about 15 and first read this book. It's quite readable, and I really enjoy LBSC. But this, I think, probably went through as a holiday or a Christmas special in one of the magazines. And there's quite a list of holiday or Christmas special articles that LBSC wrote, and this is the first one of these that I've made. Maybe I'll have a go at some of the others too. Now, this picture is larger than life by quite a bit. The boiler is 1.5 inch outside diameter, and it's 1 3/4 high. The little engine has 1/8 bore, and I think it's 732 stroke, something like that. It's got some crazy, stupid design features that make me wonder whether he actually ever built one. He said he did, and there was a bit of a backstory to it, but he was pretty good at embellishing the truth like that. So I'm not sure that this was ever built, because there's some things in this that just don't work. One is that this 332 pipe and the coil around here is just a condensation trap. There's no way it's going to work if you can actually get it curled up inside the pipe, which you can't. And I had 3 or 4 goes at that, and in the end I've just piped it straight through. I haven't put an oiler in it because that's another water trap that's just going to cause a blockage in this little thin pipe. But it goes okay, and it runs pretty quick. I think once it's running and everything's bedded in nice, it'll run even quicker. It's not a bad little pipe. In hindsight, I would put 8th pipe through to the motor. It's got 8th coming back through the exhaust and up the chimney. Also, this little 3-wick burner, which is actually 1 1/4 diameter, isn't really, it looks good on paper, but it isn't really up to the job of heating this boiler. So I've, especially with 1.6 end plates like it's drawn here. So what I've done, or what I'm going to do, I've got a better design of a boiler I've thought out that might work, or a better design of a burner I've thought out that might work. So that's the only thing left to go on this. But it does run, and it runs on its own steam because I had a blow lamp on it, and everything seemed to work. So that's what I've done. It's not very big, as you can see. It's really quite small. This little engine here is basically a displacement oiler. It's pretty crazy. It's an oil, sorry, it's a mechanical lubricator, one of his mechanical lubricators. It's got a 1/8 piston in it that's lapped in place there. And I've got this running pretty good, I think, but it still needs a little bit of RTV or something on this joint. And some of these pipes aren't, there's a bit of a bend there that I'm going to try and get out of it. And the exhaust pipe sort of needs a little bit of work too. It goes up the chimney. It's got a fillet or a level cap here, because this little boiler with this tiny little hole in the top here under this safety valve, there's no way you can fill it up without it getting an airlock in it. So it's got a little filler cap on the side on a fibre washer. It's got a little safety valve here that's got an 8th ball bearing in it, and that turned out pretty good. I'm pretty happy about that. This is just cut on here like this. I've got a piece of masking tape on here because this is engraved. It's a gift for someone, so I'm not going to sort of show you that. But apart from that, it's a pretty cool little engine, and I think it's going to work this time around. Most of the bits that I've made twice. So, a bit of a challenge. I did make this little burner here. Not up to the challenge. So, this weekend, by way of procrastinating, I sort of sat down and remade most of this engine and got it running the way it should, and redid the pipe work, cleaned everything up and gave it a polish. And we might see if we can make a boiler or make a burner and get it off to its intended owner at some point. So it's a toy engine, yes, and it's not even a particularly practical toy. It's really an exercise in in making a steam engine that's about as tiny as you want to go. So it's a really good exercise in precision machining. I haven't seen Robin's recent post about making parts twice, but I'm sure he does it, even if he doesn't tell anybody. I think we all do. But they're always better the second time round, and I learned a lot the first and second time. So some of these parts, like the crankshaft, I made 3 of, because this little crank pin is only a press fit in this hole. And can we focus this? Yeah, this is a press fit in here, and getting this crank pin so that it's straight is almost impossible, because if it's not straight, then this lifts off the valve port because of the design, which leaves a little bit to be desired. And focus on that probably. But the crank pin's towards the front, so the overhang on the back's more than the overhang on the front of the cylinder. So this doesn't have to be off far before the back lifts off or digs in onto the valve face. So that's one of the little traps with this engine. So it's pretty tiny, but it's good practice for another couple of LBSN engines I've got half built that have got an even smaller engine than this on them. So anyway, it's pretty well. I'm pretty happy with it now, so I'm going to bring it out and show people. But probably I'll make a bit of a dedicated video on this and see if we can get it uploaded to YouTube, because people might be interested in this. But it is probably a nightmare, really. But yeah, small diameter press fits are a bit fussy, and cheating, if there is a way to cheat's good, but I couldn't think of one for this. What I did make was a flat plate with a hole in it the same diameter as the crank pin, and I used that to press it in place. So I've got it nice and flat to the flange, so that seems to have worked okay. But this flywheel here is only 25mm diameter, so it's pretty small. And I'm really pleased with the way that ticks over now. The last time it really wasn't running well. So this boiler's set at about 30 psi, something like that. So I think it'll run nicely on that. So what else has happened? Tip splits 2019. That's 2 weeks away, which is pretty exciting. This month's just flown. I can't believe it's only 2 weeks. The end of the month is just crazy. Don't know where it went. Really don't. So tip splits 19, I have a message from a lot of bigger creators and even some famous people with information that they've actually started started their videos, and they're uploading their videos. So that's pretty awesome. They know who they are. This old Tony, quite a lot of others. So it should be great. That's the 5th tip splits 19. Look out for the hashtag on the 15th of September. That could be pretty cool. Watch as many videos and like as many videos as you can. And anybody wants to get on that, drop me an email. Yeah, maybe. I would say Tubal Cane's boilers have probably a lot of very similar parentage, and I would say that depending on which Tubal Cane we're talking about, but if you're talking about the one who built the engine, wrote a couple of books on building miniature steam engines. It's a very similar engine, yes. Mr. Pete always uploads this night. He's like clockwork at this time on Wednesday night. I don't know. It's cool. Wish I was that focused. Other things. I've got some plywood here. Someone might have seen that post to build a shelf to get some of the stuff off the bench over there, so that I can put another lathe over there, which may or may not have purchased off a fellow YouTuber, and it's probably going to be here this week or tomorrow or something, so that's pretty exciting. So I need to get some stuff off the bench over there, including a Craftsman toolbox that I brought back from America that cost me $10. And it's really too good to throw out, but it's no real great loss if I did. But I'll make a shelf and put that on the top, and then there's things like a belt linishes and other stuff that can go on there, and then I'm going to put a decent bench top oven over there and set that machine up properly and set up my woodwork vise, a few things like that. So they're all things that are happening. These come today in this awesome 1980s communist box. It's just LBSC's mini steam engine from this book, Kevin. Hi, Bob. There isn't really a name on it. It's just from this book. It's in the back. I think anyone who's read a model engineering book in their life knows about that engine. And I always wanted to make it, but now I have. I'd rather not make another one, to be honest. Got these off Alibaba. They should be all right. Comic box with Chinese writing on it. I don't know whether these are actually snuggled across the border from Russia or whether they're actually Chinese. They kind of, with the star and everything on them. They've got that Russian feel about them, actually, with the writing and stuff. But that's #1 cutter, and it's 0.8 DP, which is metric. And that should be the right pitch to make the timing gears for the Stuart 400. So we're going to need a stub arbor to put them on. But that's #1. I won't be using that. But there's a whole set of 8 there, from 14 teeth up to 14, 12 teeth, something like that, up through to infinity, to racks. So they look all right at first glance. They're pretty dirty. I noticed that if we could describe it, there's a fair bit of crap in the corners here. They want a good wash up, I think, before we put them in metal. But that's probably par for the course from Eastern Tooling. I probably need the mill up and running, and that's going to be, look, I've actually got electrical wires here on the bench that I've been working on. So it's happening. So they come today. The box is cool. These are probably pretty good cutters for the money. They're really pretty cheap to buy a whole set. It was like 75, 80 bucks with postage, Australian. So that's crazy cheap. And I haven't made a manual because I wanted to make sure what size they were when they got here, because buying them from China, you're never quite sure about descriptions. But 20-degree pressure angle, high-speed steel, 1:8 cutters, MO 0.8. So that was pretty cool. But probably they're not bottom of the range. I really didn't want really crappy ones. And the thing is about odd sizes like 0.8 Steph and module 0.8 and module 1.2 and all those, is that you're probably not going to get the really cheapy ones because they're not the real common ones. Anyway. Point 0.8 should be forbidden. Yeah. Anyway. What else? While Chirpy's here and we haven't seen him for weeks. It's a different sort of scale altogether. This one's going to Chirpy. It needs a few little things. We haven't quite got this burner sorted yet. I've sort of drawn... Oops, I bumped the camera there. Sorry, I'll make you seasick. Ooh. I've drawn up a new burner and I think I've got some idea of what I'm going to do for that. This is a water tube, Paddy. This is from a magazine from America. Oh, it's full of water. Crap. Put my finger over that. Don't know if you can see the water tubes in the bottom there. But it's quite an efficient design, I think. And there's two of these. One of them's... This one's finished. The other one's getting very close and we still need burners. So there you go, Chirpy. I think that'll be pretty good. It could do with a polish as well. But it's coming along. Really pleased about them. No progress on the Stuart. Next week, maybe. Maybe next week. Trying to get things tidied up a bit so that I can get this mill going and a few other things. Messing around learning to silver solder with the heat treat oven too. That's kind of interesting. No real results yet, but we'll get there. What's stamped on the plate, Chirpy? It says 35 PSI 2019. So it's just a test plate. This was a mistake. To be honest, I wouldn't do this again on a plate. I'd make a small straight plate with everything written on it and put it around the top or around the side or on the top, because I think that would be a much easier thing to do than to put it on the end, because there's some issues with that. But it was a learning experience. So pretty excited to see how this performs. I want to hook it up to my Myford Boy engine at the very least and just see what it does and how long it runs for and all that sort of thing when we get it going, and then send it away. So this week feels like I've been doing stuff for other people a bit, and that's awesome. It's really nice to be able to do that. It's awesome to be able to have time to do jobs for other creators. It's fun. I really enjoy collab and doing stuff for other people. What else is happening? Don't know really. I need to make some tool holders for the lathe. I've been cleaning up a bit. That's a really good point, Chirpy. I've had some thoughts about that, but I'm still sort of thinking it through. So far it hasn't happened, and I've been using a metal tray in there, which kind of works, but then everything sticks to the metal as well. So there are ways, I think, to do it. I don't know if I've got anything else to say, really. Yeah, I've made a bit of a metal shelf and I think that's right, but it's not exactly the answer. It's sort of the answer. No progress on the dividing head, no progress on anything else. I have been cleaning frantically. So this bench doesn't actually look any cleaner, but it's a lot less dirty and grimy, and I've actually wiped it all down and moved everything back. You know how it is. I've got a new sticker on the board. That's kind of cool. Don't know if you can see that. Move this up here where you can see it. There it is. Ichi Boots. Check out Ichi Boots channel if you're interested in bench and motorcycling or travel or whatever else. It's a pretty cool channel. Really love it. She's awesome. Go and check her out. But there's a sticker there from her, so that's pretty cool. Check her out. Ichi Boots. Ichi Boots on. Did I say Ichi Boots? I think I said Ichi Boots on YouTube. It's a good channel and worth looking at. Hi, Raymond. So I think we've just about covered it all. I'm messing around boring out a pulley to go on this motor and an adapter plate to go on the mill, and trying to get things up and running. Yeah, electrics on the mill, 3-phase running through a VFD. It's a slow speed motor. I've got a 960 RPM motor for the mill, which should slow it down enough to use a 4-inch cutter, I hope. And it's also reversible, so I should be able to use end mills with it too, I hope. That's the plan. Also, some of you may have seen the power feed for the table that I got working earlier in the week. Not going to show you that now. I had every intention to do that tonight, but I think we burnt the board out. May have short-circuited something. I'm not very good at electrics, to be honest. So it's not working. I have another board on the way, so I can put that off for a little bit, but it's sort of worked for a bit, and I'm a bit more confident about it now. So my bad. Anyway. So I'm going to call this a night. Have fun. Be kind to each other. Don't forget TipBlitz19. Hashtag TipBlitz19. TIPBLITZ19. Not TIPS, just TIP. And more soon. Take care. Take care, Cam. Hope you're feeling a lot better soon. Good to see you all. And go and do some work, Stefan. And I'm out.